So this weekend, one of the projects was this original Gangster 2015 M2. Just had a bit of work done, so we retrofitted a Apple CarPlay and Android Auto box in it. So got Android Auto up on the screen at the moment, but also it had a full eye level update. So this actually still had the original software from 2015 on the car, and it had a very snappy tail. It also had a few bugs with the reverse camera not turning off when you went to drive, and a few other issues. So I've upgraded to the latest iStep level, which is I think it's May 2020. And also as part of that, what I've also done is you can actually code the M2 CS steering system in. So it's made a massive difference to the steering on the car. It's now got nice meaty steering, because you can actually code the M2 CS or even the M4 GTS steering option on the car, which completely changes the way the weighting as well as how it turns back, and surprisingly also the road feel. So there's all sorts of parameters they do. It's more than just giving a bit of assistance. It also uses the motor to give turn back when you go around a corner and such like that. So that's a big improvement. And the other thing that we also did was upgraded the diff to the M4 GTS tune on the diff, which also has made a big difference turning. So it's really become quite an agile car now with the new steering and the software update, as well as the GTS diff software update. So all that was just a software update to the latest version, and then you can add all the new features, which is quite cool. And on top of that, it's now got CarPlay, full wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. So if you keep watching, I'll go through a few features of the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Hi everyone, I just thought I'd do a quick video to show you the retrofits I've been doing recently in some of the BMWs. Here today we've got a 2015 M2, one of the first ones ever that came out, and I've retrofitted a Apple CarPlay and Android Auto box to the car. A bit later I'll show you sort of what the box looks like and how it fits in. But basically it sits in between the NBT iDrive system and the actual screen. So those of you who've had these sort of Android units on the E-series cars, which replace your screen, it doesn't do that. It still retains exactly the same iDrive box and also keeps exactly the same screen that BMW came with. It's just a little interface box that sits in between the two. And the way it works is you hold down your menu key on the iDrive controller, and it actually switches between the original iDrive system and the CarPlay system just by holding down for 2 seconds. And if you see here, I just go through a few things. It's very snappy. It's exactly the same on a 2015 M2 as it is on a 2008 M3 or the older iDrive. So it'll go into anything on an iDrive from late 2008 all the way through to 2020. And you can also, and I've also been retrofitting CIC iDrives to the older BMWs, which had the first gen iDrive, which then gives you this functionality. So I just thought I'd show you quickly what CarPlay looks like. I'll do a quick demonstration of Android very soon as well. I'll pair my Android phone up. I'm actually using a really old crappy iPhone 6, the cracked screen, so it actually still runs really smooth, but if you have a newer phone it'll probably run even faster. So just to give you a demo, like you can see here, it's not touchscreen, it's all operated via the scroll wheel and voice. So if I just scroll through, you see you can go to Spotify, you can see all your music in there, you can click that, it's playing your latest music. All the steering wheel controls still work, so the scroll wheel on the F-series cars actually cycles through the menus, so you can actually pretty much do everything via the steering wheel controller if you want on these F-series cars. On the E-series cars it just changes the track like you would expect on a normal car. It also does full voice control with Siri, so if I hold down the voice control button, navigate to Turinga on Google Maps.
Getting directions to Turinga using Google Maps.
You can see here it's opened up Google Maps. It's going to find the quickest route to Turinga, which I'm fairly close to that, so it'll not be very far. And it also allows you to do things like, you can hold down the button, open Waze, and you can have Waze up on your car with all the traffic information you need, as well as changing tracks. So I can say play Fleetwood Mac on Spotify.
Now playing Fleetwood Mac on Spotify.
So you'll see it's automatically changed the artist to whatever I've asked for, and I'm still on my navigation screen, so it's really handy. And you can actually still have the audio coming through the CarPlay and switch back to your iDrive system. Say if you want to check your car tyre pressures, for instance, you can still have the the CarPlay unit still running through there. Okay, so I've just hooked up my Android phone, which is a Pixel 3 XL. Again, it's wireless, just like the iPhone on this box. So this is one of the few solutions for wireless Android Auto on a BMW. Unlike some of the other boxes on the market, which they have a stretched interface, this gives you the full widescreen split view, and it also does it wireless. Quite a few of the other CarPlay boxes only do Android Auto via USB connection, but this does wireless just like the iPhone. And just like before, it's all controlled from the iDrive controller. And as you can see here, it's just, lets you shift through all the menus. You can scroll across, click that, and it will then open up your app menu. And just like on Apple, you can get Waze up. Notice it isn't quite as zippy as what CarPlay is, and I think it's just the way Android do it. It could also be that my phone is a bit old and it's been running a bit slow since I did an update to the new Android version 11. It probably doesn't help too that I'm in bad reception at the moment. So that's Waze, which it should come up. Sometimes you've got to approve Waze to do things if the phone's just been reset up. Same with Google Maps, that all comes up. You can also get your flashy satellite view if you want to impress your friends and use up all your data. So it's pretty, oops, hit the wrong button there. Put your satellite view on if you want, so you can see all the pretty houses. And just like on Apple, it's all it all runs via voice as well. So through all this, I'm just using the iDrive controller. But you can, because it's split view, it'll actually show you like what's playing down the bottom right, and you can scroll across, click that, and it'll take you straight to Spotify. I think because my reception's a bit iffy, it's not quite looking as pretty as it should, but it should give you album art. Again, you've got your Spotify, you can scroll through, find new songs, and if you actually had a navigation going down that bottom right where it was showing music before, it would actually show you directions, which is quite handy. So it works really well. So just for an example, I'll just use voice, hold down the voice button as usual. Navigate to Taringa.
Navigating to Taringa.
There you go, it's found a route. And just like normal Google, it gives you all your traffic information, so it's really handy. And I just like these because it's using the factory screen. It's got the nice anti-glare on it. It's not like those crappy glossy screens you buy off from China. And it just works. You don't have to touch screen. You've got your iDrive controller and your buttons on your steering wheel. And just like on Apple, you hold down the menu key and it will switch back to your iDrive interface. So if you want to listen to radio or whatever, you're straight back to radio, which works really well. Okay, just to show you, it can also go into older cars. Here I've got my 2005 M5. So this is actually a bit of a Frankenstein car now because it's now a manual V10. But I've also retrofitted the CI drive out of a 2010 E90, as well as the new controller. Apologies, it was a bit messy at the moment, but I've been using it as a test bed for all the different CarPlay units. I've got a few sitting in the glove box there, so it's easier to run a cable out, which is why the trims aren't currently on at the moment. But again, I've just got my phone connected up. This is my Android phone, but CarPlay works even better than Android does. But just to show you, that's actually the interface of the actual main unit if you ever want to go in and change the settings. But it works just as well as it did on the M2. The resolution's the same, if not actually better for some reason on this box. It looks like it's a higher resolution. It should... So you can play your music or whatever. Again, the steering wheel controls work. You can turn the volume down. The track change button does actually change track. It depends, I think you can actually program which way it changes track, but it is actually changing track right now. I've got the volume down pretty low. So there you go. It all works just as well, just like factory basically. And again, it's only using the iDrive controller, the steering wheel controls. It's retained the factory CIC iDrive screen, so it's the nice anti-glare, you know, not those crappy touchscreens you get off China where they're really glary. And again, you hold down the menu button and it will take you straight back to the iDrive system, which I've currently got in PDC mode. And then it works just like it normally would in iDrive. So yeah, it's another really great for such an old car. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that. So just to give you an idea of what's involved to install one of these boxes, the box is down here. This is what the box is. It's got a main connector, which is called CAN power in this box, as well as an auxiliary thing for USB cables and reverse cameras if you don't have a factory reverse camera system, as well as an in and out for the screen. So this is an M2, a 2015 M2, and it's got an NBT Evo unit, a first gen unit. And because of that, it's actually thinner than most units. Normally they go all the way down to the bottom here. So in this car, it's actually really easy to install because you can actually slot the box in just underneath. In E-Series and also 2014, 2015 F-Series cars, this box is bigger, so you don't have the space under here. So you've actually got to take out, or I take out the glove box and actually slot it in sort of in the side here. So it's a bit more effort to take off that. Wiring wise, the way it works is it has a harness which basically bunny hops what goes into the back of the head unit. So you have to take the head unit out, and there is a connector on the back which I've actually already unplugged. And this sort of goes on the end of that, and then this end then goes into the head unit. And then it's got a connector, this white one here, which then goes into the Carplay unit. So it sort of does like a pass-through system. And then you also have to run a cable up to the screen as well, because the box basically acts like a system in between the head unit and the screen, and it will flick in between the head unit and the Carplay and Android Auto box. So yeah, this car is probably the easiest of all to install in. Other F-Series aren't too bad, you just got to take the glove box out to slot in there. But on E-Series cars, the microphones at the top here are actually connected through to the boot. They don't actually go to the head unit itself, so it won't pick it up off the head unit connector. So you've actually then got to run a wire up the windscreen and hook into the factory microphone. So you've got to take off a whole heap of extra trim pieces, which is a bit more painful. Anyway, I'll flick up a picture of what it looks like on E-Series install after you take out the glove box and whatnot. Just thought that would be interesting if you're interested to see how much work's involved to install one of these units.